The old school folks are like, what are you doing? And the new school folks are having a similar experience to me. We seem to have evolved our sales processes, our marketing and our sales processes, and people seem to be responding to that.
Every employee benefits broker and industry partner dreams of achieving great things. The bad news is that success doesn't come easy. The good news is that you don't have to do it alone. Welcome to the Benefits Sales Pro Show. I am your host, Ryan James Miller, and my goal is to engage industry professionals who have found success and are willing to share it with others. So give us 15 minutes and hear how today's guest has achieved great things so you can too. What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the show. I have with me a great friend, a powerhouse in the industry. She necessarily wouldn't talk about herself that way, but she's just too humble for that. I love the fact, by the way, that the only way that you can listen to this is by watching this. And so you get to see her face right away. And so if you don't know, I don't know what rock you're living under, but that right there is Allison De Paoli. She is the founder of Altiqe Consulting. Like I said, she's been a great friend to me. We've done some work together. I've been super fortunate to be able to be a part of her life and she be a part of mine. And so now we're here. I have you. You're recording. I'm not going to edit out anything from this point forward. So you're stuck, Allison.
Oh, well, all right. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay. So the goal of this show is just to get right into the thick of the sales world. And you have a unique responsibility that many people don't, because many people just sell, or many people just run their business. But you get to do both. You run your business, you have to sell in order for your business to run, and you do a lot of other things there too. So today I'm going to try and have you put more of the sales hat on if possible, but I know that some of the questions may lend to the owner side of things. But first off, just a quick question or a quick answer maybe is, so what is your opinion of the sales environment in the benefits industry today?
I think it is very old.
Okay. Like old people, old habits, old tactics, or just everything.
Yeah. Just go with yes.
I love that. Okay. So do you see, I love that question. I love that answer so much. I just want to stay here for the rest of our time, but I can't. But do you see a change happening? Do you see a shift, or do you feel like there's just a lot of legacy being held on to?
I think that both of those statements are true. I think there is a real shift. I can tell in how people respond to me. And I have a few friends in this industry, some old school, some new school. And the old school folks are like, what are you doing? And the new school folks are having a similar experience to me. We seem to have evolved our sales processes, our marketing and our sales processes, and people seem to be responding to that.
That's good. Okay. No, that's good and helpful. And I think that's going to lend to more of what I'm going to ask. So then maybe in light of that, but maybe not, what's one of the big mistakes that you see agency owners and or salespeople are making right now that are hindering their ability to be able to grow?
Expectation.
Oh, well, you can't get away with just that answer. So expand on that a little bit. So what specifically do you mean there?
So I think we operate from a perspective that all of our accounts are at risk every year. And I don't know that that's true, but we do operate that way. I have seen a number of cases move around and the incumbent advisor be very surprised that their case is no longer their case. And there seems to be still, at least in my neck of the woods, well, I've been the broker for 20 years. We play golf. We're friends. And when your budget is $95 million and you're fully insured, maybe that doesn't work anymore. So I think people are looking for change. And they're not just looking for change because their budgets are busting. Their budgets are busting, but they also are starting to understand that they have functionally uninsured or underinsured a significant portion of their population. And that is a bigger problem sometimes.
Oof. Man, these are like baiting statements and topics that I'm holding myself back from, because I want to keep this so focused to help your peers out there become better salespeople. So we're gonna stick with that. Okay, so then what is for you? How long, by the way, have you been in the industry?
I'm going to go with the commercial that says my age is a number and it's unlisted.
Okay. How long ago did you found your agency?
So we've been in the benefit space now for about 4 years.
Okay.
And it was a little slow at first, but we've got some traction. We've got momentum. We have people coming to us. Sales cycle is still typically, 1 to 3 years, not necessarily under that, but that's okay. We're good at keeping in touch with people. We've learned how to have better conversations. We don't do the just checking thing. Yeah. And people need a little bit of time to understand that they can solve the problem, not just put a Band-Aid on it.
Yeah, that's so good. Okay, so over that 4-year period for you, what has been one of the bigger challenges that you have faced in regards to winning business, growing the business during this time?
Our industry is pretty relationship driven, so breaking some of those relationships can be quite challenging, and people believing that I can do what I say.
Ooh. Okay, so two very different and yet in a lot of ways very similar things there, right? Breaking the relationship and you having enough trust established that they're going to buy into you. So how have you found yourself overcoming that?
So we do some consulting work where we identify what the problems are and provide a map of solutions, because, sometimes, and I'm pretty engaged in my topic in case you didn't know. And people think, oh my God, they have to change all these things and it's going to be too much. Really, changes should happen 1 or 2 things at a time. And, you kind of layer in the things that people like, and some of the low hanging fruit, they actually happen to be complementary. And then you kind of move into things that are a little more challenging for people, but because they've seen how it works over here, they're willing to go with you over here. And it is a different communication cycle. This is not come at renewal, have a meeting and leave. It's not that. And so there's a different kind of engagement that needs to happen. And, I apparently negotiate knees now, and I will be negotiating an X-ray for a member of a client, a user, she's a spouse actually, of a client of mine that is running into an issue. Okay, we can fix that, but there has to be some dialogue. And, we have a small team, but we all know how to do those things. And we all know how to make people comfortable with how those things are going to happen. And we don't do them very often. Typically, that should be done by one of your vendors. But every once in a while, you have to intervene and help somebody. And that also is a little bit of a different idea, I think.
Yeah, so in there, I definitely heard play the long game. I think it's super important. And you said that earlier too, right? The sales cycle being 1, 2, 3 years. It's not 2 days. So I think that's important. Yep. I heard you speak to meeting people where they are at. And I think that's so important. Whether it's you and you do have some benefit and flexibility in the fact that, you can do some consulting work before you become the broker. And so that's kind of your in some sense, that can be how you meet people where they're at, show them, build that trust, build that relationship. But for other people, they don't necessarily have that, but they can do a lot and go a long way in adding similar value, even if they're not their broker or their consultant, by just building into that trust over that period of time, right?
Correct. And I think, that you talk a lot about authenticity, and I have found that the more I am authentically myself, the better people respond to me. They may like me or not, but they respond to me in a more relaxed way.
Yeah. No, I think that you have de-escalated the situation. And that's kind of an interesting, I guess, way to phrase that. But, when we engage into a sales conversation, the pressure becomes so heightened on our side. As the seller, our pressure is really high because it's like, we want to show up, we want to do well, we want to win the deal, we got to put our best foot forward. But on the customer side, we don't seek to understand this side very often. Their pressure is really high too, because they're very highly emotional to the defensive a lot on decisions they've made, relationships they have. Yep. There's a lack of trust. And so then that's really heightened as well. Plus, they have all this pressure on them to produce the right outcomes, to make the right decisions, to do the right things. And so we don't work a lot on de-escalation. And I really like that. So I think I'm going to have to talk more about that, because that was good that you prodded that. Okay. So that's a big challenge that you faced, and really some good practical ways to overcome that. What is one sales tactic or strategy that you have used that you attribute success to? This is like you giving away your secret right here. Other than the fact that you're just an amazing person.
Well, let's not get carried away. Content production. Okay. And talking to people on a regular basis, even though it is asynchronous. And I think, as much as I am not excited to be on camera, the more on camera I am and the more authentically myself I am, the better the conversations are. And they may not lead to business right away, but they do lead to real conversations because somebody knows who I am.
That is so good, because we all know that when we are face to face with another human being, that relationship is so much stronger, so much more quickly, right? Even if it's just two strangers and there's a human to human connection, right? Staring somebody in the eyeballs is so much deeper. And so I love the fact that you share that. And I've seen that, and anybody that follows you has seen the amount of content, good quality content that you produce, and you showing up as yourself in front of other people is allowing people into your world and getting to know you in a way that somebody just sitting behind the telephone, or worse, behind the computer typing emails, will never gain.
Correct. And I'm not really a big fan of doing it, and it's a lot of work, and it's not an inexpensive proposition, but the return on it is significant. And I know the trust that it engenders is, you can't buy that.
That's good. And I appreciate that you said, I don't like it, but I do it. And, as much as you love I know you love what you do. I know you take so much pride in what you do, and that's amazing, but we don't always get to love everything about what we do, right? There are just certain things that we don't, but you've seen that there is something that's really, really difficult for you, or that presents a big challenge that you don't typically enjoy, or that wouldn't be your first choice, but you have to do it to be successful, and you've seen success. So not only have you done it, you don't do it begrudgingly, like you're leaning into it with a sense of joy, and that comes out in the content you produce. And so I think that that's really cool to see. And I think that that's something that more people need to hear, is oftentimes the things that we want to do the least are the things that we need to do the most.
Yes, I would agree wholeheartedly with that.
Okay. So because we don't want to reach back into we don't know how long you've been in the business question again. I have so many funny things, but I'm not gonna. Okay. So final question for you, just kind of keeping this tight, is what is one piece of advice you would give yourself 4 years ago when you were ready to start Altiqe, that you have now learned and are doing well? What is something that you would just say, you should do this, or watch out for this?
get out of your head. Be brave, go ask, go forth, do, get out of your head.
Okay, I wasn't going to ask another question, but I'm interested in this one. I'm sure we've talked about this before, but I think it's helpful for people to hear. Why do you feel like you had the confidence to start your business, but you struggled with the confidence to just go be yourself in your business? Because I mean, that took such a massive leap for you to go start a business. You relied 100% on yourself.
I have always professionally lied 100% on myself. I, like Eric Silverman, am a retired carrier rep, but was not an employee of that carrier, as most carrier reps are not. And so, yes, I had marketing and I had those kinds of things. I think I didn't value how much marketing I had at the time. But, there was a little bit of sales support and there was marketing and there was a reputation that helped me get places. But I did what I did on my own. And having said that, nobody gets where they are without some help. But it was me, right? I did the work. And I think you always have to do the work. And, things change and you have to evolve in your life. So I knew I couldn't continue with that. And my family owned a boutique firm and all we did was self-funded clients. And, so I learned there what you could do, what you couldn't do, what you shouldn't do. And thought, well, I could do that. It's just not that hard. And I was looking around going, I could fix that. I could fix that. I could fix that. And I can fix all of those things and a few other things as well. And the solutions aren't perfect, but they get better every year. And, but there were still many things to learn. And I think, there's a statistic. I don't know if you've ever read Katty Kay's and Claire Shipman's book, The Confidence Code, but they wrote that book for their daughters. And because they couldn't understand how to build confidence in their daughters. And there's one statistic in there that I think is really, really important. And that is, if a man sees a job that he wants to apply for, if he has 60% of the skills necessary to do the job, he will apply for the job. A woman will only apply if she has 100% of the skills. And that was where I was in my head. So sometimes you just have to go do, and you'll figure it out later. And that's kind of my temperament anyway. So that was okay. But it still took a while to get out of my head.
It's so good. I always tell people confidence is knowing your best is good enough. And I just feel like you, of all that I've observed over the last now couple of years of us getting to know one another, is you demonstrate that so well. And I feel like you're very open and honest about where you're strong, where you struggle. And I think that it is that we're on this word of authenticity. I think that's why people gravitate to you so much. I think that there's a lot of practical that comes through and a lot of the things that we just shared in those 5 questions. But I think at the end of the day, that's why you win, which is a huge reason why I loved having you as a guest. And I believe that other benefits consultants, agency owners, and aspiring sales professionals should follow you and should get engaged with you. I know you don't want to spend time just fielding calls and messages from everybody out there, but I think that you are just somebody that other people can easily look up to because you don't boast a big game, and yet you do demonstrate such a confidence in what you do. And so I love that about you. You know, I love you dearly. I appreciate you so much. And thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. This was a lot more fun than I thought.
Well, I'm glad we did it. And for anybody listening today, I hope this was a lot more fun than you thought too. So make sure to connect with Allison if you haven't already. We'll put her contact information into the show notes there. Questions for me, concerns, comments, whatever you got, I'm here for you. Follow thebenefitsalespro.com and you will be sure to get all kinds of information there on upcoming episodes and so many other great things that we're doing to make you the best possible sales professional you can be in this industry. Take care. Talk soon. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of the Benefits Sales Pro Show. Please make sure to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. I also invite you to check out thebenefitssalespro.com. We have created a digital platform that includes both live and on-demand video trainings, quick tips, and a multitude of branding, prospecting, and selling resources that are downloadable for you today. So visit www.thebenefitssalespro.com and grab a free copy of the High Performance Sales Playbook while you're there.